What's going on, Jags Nation? So the Jaguars yesterday, unfortunately, lost to the Indianapolis Colts, an AFC South rival, by a score of 23-17. The Jaguars fall to 2-7, while the Colts improve to 5-5, and now the Jaguars are 0-3 in the AFC South. And I gotta tell you guys, man, these losses are weighing on me a lot harder than I can ever remember. I think a lot of that, maybe I just have recency bias because in 2020, I really did not care about winning any games. And obviously, because I wanted to get the quarterback. But I don't know, man. It was tough. And this loss was pretty hard. And I gotta say, man, like this. The Jaguars actually almost won this. And if the Jaguars had won this game, it really would have felt like the Jags stole this game from the Colts because man, the Jaguars, really, especially offensively, were not playing well. I got to give the Jaguars some credit, man. There were a lot of blowouts yesterday. The Falcons got blown out by the Cowboys, and the Jets got blown out by the Bills, and there were a couple of other games like that around the NFL. The Browns got blown out by the Patriots. It looked like this Jaguar game was going to go about the same way because the Jaguars were literally down 17-0 at one point at the end of the first quarter, and we really thought, this is going to be bad. Jonathan Taylor was running all over us. Their offense was doing pretty much anything they wanted to us, but the defense held really tight. They only allowed 6 more points, throughout the rest of the game. 3 points in the second quarter, 4 points and 3 points in the fourth quarter. So 6 total points between the second and fourth quarter between a really, really good scoring team with the Colts. And they really only allowed, 16 points this game, as obviously there was a blocked punt in this game, which we'll get into later. And the Jaguars defense, I got to say, man, they've been really stepping up. Shout out to Joe Cullen. Shout out to a bunch of these players, man. Josh Allen, even Taven Bryan is stepping up. Miles Jack is going all over the place. And, Shaquille Griffin's locking guys down. Even Tyson Campbell flashed last game. So, this defense continues to progress. Maybe this rebuild isn't going to be as long as we really anticipated, just because, man, if this defense starts coming into its own and we really start, they start playing well under the scheme, it could be pretty exciting because I've liked this defense so far. Obviously, a great game against the Bills. They've had some good back-to-back games, so let's kind of hope that really keeps going. But really, the name of this one, man, was the offense. The offense was putrid, and it was led by, obviously, Trevor Lawrence. And Trevor Lawrence, maybe numbers-wise, it wasn't his worst game, but it really felt like it was his worst game. 16 for 35 passing. He was 3 of 14, in the first half. Really bad. 162 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. And he just did not look comfortable this game, man. Like, he was... And the main thing that looked different about him this game than other games is how early he was kind of leaving the pocket. He was running the ball a lot. I mean, when you look at his running attempts, 5 runs for 33 yards. I mean, usually he's a guy that, he'll hold on to it and then kind of throw the ball. But he really wasn't doing that this game. And, and as much as people were kind of piling on Trevor Lawrence, man, there's not really much helping it out here with the Jaguars. And obviously the receivers aren't great. They're not really getting a lot of separation. And, when they do get separation, Trevor Lawrence isn't really seeing them. Just this whole entire passing game is bad and it's broken right now. But really, man, I put a lot of the blame here on our offensive coordinator, Darrell Bevell. Now, a bunch of people were like, we got to fire him. I'm not trying to fire him yet. Because right now, I'm just trying to fix this from week to week. At the end of the season, we can discuss firing him. And I think he's done at the end of the year. I mean, I really do. He doesn't bring a lot to our team. It feels like he's a recycled offensive coordinator around the league. He's not an Urban Meyer guy. Urban Meyer hired him based on an interview, and Urban Meyer was trying to hire NFL guys. He wasn't trying to hire Urban Meyer guys. He was trying to hire guys that have been around the NFL that could kind of help almost, learn with Urban Meyer, Urban Meyer could kind of learn under them because, obviously if he came in here and hired a DC from Ohio State, an OC that, he used to coach with him at Florida or something like that, it would have been a little bit weird. But yeah, Darrell Bevell probably gone at the end of the year. But I mean, for now, we're going to have him from week to week, and man, he's got to figure out a better offensive game plan here, man. Like and one thing I look at, man, like, I know I'm kind of all over the place here, but I just want to say that when you look at the rookie quarterbacks, man, if you would have told me before the draft the best rookie quarterback would have been Mac Jones, I would have been like, that's crazy. I would have never expected that. But if I had seen the teams that these players had gone to, and I saw Mac Jones was playing for the Patriots, I would not be surprised at all. Because if you compare the offense of the Jaguars to the Patriots, it's night and day, man. Just the coaching for the Patriots is incredible, and what they're doing with the offense is incredible, and they are doing everything they can to help out Mac Jones. And the Patriots don't even have a lot of weapons at wide receiver. They don't have any premier wide receiver. Neither really did Tom Brady. But what Belichick does and Josh McDaniels, man, they can really figure out the strengths of their offense and figure out, okay, how can we utilize these players? We don't have the speediest receivers. How can we get them open? And that's exactly what they do. And that's what the Jaguars need to do, man. Our receivers, they're not fast. They don't really get open. Let's scheme ways for them to get open. You know what I mean? Let's set some picks. Let's crossing routes, like something to get this offense in a groove because, we're doing these like back shoulder throws and they're not there. And it's like, okay, is this timing off? Is it an inaccurate throw? Like, what is it? And, we have some balls downfield. Like we threw one to Agnew that was like, could have been a good catch, but it was this great coverage because there was no separation there. And I don't know. It was just tough last game. And even Jimmy Smith put on Twitter, he's frustrated because it looks like to him that the wide receivers is just jogging out there. It's just a broken thing right now with the Jaguars offense. And it sucks to see. It sucks to watch Trevor Lawrence out there struggling because it doesn't feel like we're really helping him out at all. You know what I mean? I want to, I shouldn't say bash him, but we'll criticize Trevor Lawrence where it's due. He did not have a good game last game. He did not. I'm not defending that. But at the same time, man, like when you have a rookie quarterback, you've got to figure out ways to help him out. A lot of times we forget that this guy's a rookie because sometimes he feels like a 4-year vet. But man, like, the passing game is broken. In the second half, it was good that we kind of got back to the run a little bit more. But man, it's tough to see, man. I mean, it's tough to see. Jamal Agnew had a really good run, a 66-yard run. He's been pretty dynamite for us. James Robinson, only 12 attempts for 57 yards. They weren't trying to overload him with carries. I mean, when you look at the other guys, I mean, we had, what is that? We had 12 runs for James Robinson, and we also had 12 runs for guys not named James Robinson. So they weren't trying to necessarily force the issue with James Robinson, but I mean he did good, especially he started lining up in the second half a little bit more. Receiving game, I mean Dan Arnold 5 receptions, 67 yards, and then Marvin Jones 2 receptions for 35 yards. I don't know what happened with Marvin Jones, man. I was really wanting him to. That was an emphasis for me, was to get him back and involved in this game, and you know what I mean. He doesn't look like he's into it. I don't know. I mean maybe his age is catching up with him. Being a 30-year-old guy, I don't know. And I mean, it's tough. It's tough, man. And I gotta say, we got the tight end Chris Manhertz. I'm ready to sit that guy, dude. Like he had a terrible crack back block. I'd say that 3 times fast in the game, and it really hurt us, man. We picked up a first down. It backed us up to like a 1st and 18. I don't know, man. It was bad. And just this game, I mean, and the special teams was really bad. We had obviously early on a blocked punt from Logan Cook, and it led to a touchdown. And it was like, dude, we are not good enough to just hand over touchdowns. It felt like a repeat of the beginning of the Titans game where it's like just an early mistake, and then we just hand them over a touchdown. Can a team give us a touchdown like that? I'm waiting for us to get, that kind of easy touchdown, but, it happens. And then also Matthew Wright, 1 for 2 on field goals, 0 for 1 on extra points. I mean, it seems like sooner or later you got to get a kicking competition in. I mean, he was dynamite, obviously, in the Dolphins game. He was making everything. But really all the other games, he's missing at least 1 field goal per game. I think the only game he hasn't had a missed kick in was the Seattle game where we just scored 1 touchdown. He made his extra point. So, I don't know, man. That's been a little bit sketchy. So, with this one, man, Jaguar fall to 2-7. It really sucks. And I can't believe we were actually in this game for as long as we were. But, shout out to the defense for showing out. But Jaguars had to figure out what to do on offense. And we have a rookie quarterback in there that, obviously this game he looked as the least confident he's ever been. Got to find out a way to fix that because, while the receivers aren't doing good and the quarterback isn't doing good, we can figure out, like, that's on the coaches, man. Figure out something to do with these guys because I can guarantee you we can get better production than we've been getting. I think a lot of that falls squarely on the coaching, and hopefully Urban Meyer can get a little bit involved. I don't know, but something obviously has to change because the Jags offense these last three games ever since the bye week has been horrible. You know what I mean? So Jaguars scored one or two touchdowns. I think they only scored one touchdown offensively, right? No, they scored two touchdowns. So we had a 66-yard Agnew run, but yeah, even that one is a little bit of fluke of a touchdown run. So I don't know. I'm kind of ranting a little bit. Let me know your thoughts about this game. It was disappointing, man. I really just want to start seeing the Jaguars win some games. But next week we have an easier matchup against the San Francisco 49ers, who are playing right now on Monday Night Football. So with all that said, thank you guys for watching. Go Jags, and I'm out.